We're back.
What's happening?
What's up?
I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. How you doing?
I'm Sam Healy.
We're here to talk about games, and one of the things that board games are notorious for is licensing. Whenever someone says, I guess the biggest example of this in the past 20 years would be like Jumanji. Okay, they made a board game based on the movie that was based on a board game. The Jumanji, the board game.
So meta.
Yeah. But if you played the actual board game Jumanji, you kind of want it to drill through your foot.
Yes.
That
was one of the challenges, in fact. Drill through your foot.
But really, it's a really bad game. It's you roll the dice and see what. Now, I mean,
it was a bad game.
It's a bad game. Yeah. But anytime there's anything, Transformers, the board game, whatever, usually our first thought, at least my first thought is garbage.
Run. Yes, run
Not
away.
Not gonna be good.
Yes.
However, I would say that over the past 10, 15, 20 years, this has been changing. Mm-hmm. In fact, now a lot of companies are coming out with games that are based on licenses. WizKids, Cryptozoic, and other companies, and we cannot just dismiss these out of hand.
Of course not.
Sometimes we do. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about 10 games that are based on movies, TV shows, books, comic books, video games. Although
basically any intellectual property that is not the board game itself, based on another IP.
Even if that intellectual property is public domain.
Yes, even if it's old enough to be public domain.
Because I have a couple of those, I think.
Me too.
Okay. So, now, I do want to say one more thing. Every time we do one of these lists, people say that somebody didn't get the point of the list.
Uh-huh.
But the point of the list is whatever we make of it.
Yeah!
So, here's how I picked my 10.
Take it!
I picked games that I like a lot, but I thought it brought out the flavor of the subject matter and did a good job.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing I did. It's games that have a good relationship between what the original IP was and what this game brings to the table.
Yeah, I can go there.
Okay.
Here we go.
Number 10.
I'm hiding my list, so I get to go fast.
All right, go.
All right.
Order.
I get to go first, and both of you probably are not going to agree with me, including this on this list. You will probably even deride me.
Deriding, yes. There will be derision.
You might even do that.
Wow, you're like getting all defensive. I don't even know what the game is.
I'm just saying, it probably will be.
Isn't it usually the other way around?
It will be fist shaking.
It will be. It was a recent game that we played recently. It just came out not too long ago.
Okay.
Walking Dead?
No, not Walking Dead. Not The Walking Dead. So, it was not that one. But we did play this game on the same day that we played The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. I wondered if this would make someone's list, and I knew we would get garbage if none of us put it on our list.
Well, I'm putting it on my list because while I didn't, it's Firefly, the game. Yeah, go ahead. Just.
No, I'm not going to deride you. Go ahead and say your good thing, then I'll give my counterpoint.
This is my thing. While we were playing the movie,
See, we were playing the movie.
The game.
Well, it actually kind of fits. But while we were playing the game, it wasn't really hitting for me.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't really carrying it. It wasn't really. I wasn't getting the love from the game.
You're making a good point.
Now, after that, it sparked my interest. I'm going to go back and rewatch the show. I'm going to go back and rewatch the series. And as I was watching the series, I thought back to the game experience.
Uh-huh.
And I thought they actually did a good job including the theme of Firefly into that game.
Okay.
And that's what made me allow this to squeak in on number 10. Because as I watched back, it made me think of the game and I was like, wow, they did do a good job. Mm-hmm. Including the theme into that game. Is it going to be a game that everybody likes? No.
Sure.
But I think they did a good job of putting the Firefly universe into an operable game.
The only thing I don't like, not the only thing, but the main thing I don't like about that game is the fact that playing the game takes longer than watching the entire show.
That's not true.
Oh, whatever.
Come on.
It's one season and the game is
Mr.
like...
Hyperbole over there, whatever.
Okay, that's clearly...
No, listen.
Please.
I disagree with Sam slightly. I think that the game takes place in the Firefly universe. I think that comes out very strongly. I just don't feel like the game feels like the show. It feels like it's in the same universe,
Okay,
sure.
And we were talking about that because you were saying that the shenanigans that go along between the different characters and all of the comedic parts of the that's not there. I understand that, but you definitely felt like you were in that universe.
All right.
And
Okay.
so number 10 for me, Firefly the game.
I like Superman. I like Batman. My number 10 is DC Deck Builder.
Really?
No.
Liar.
It's a lie.
Ain't no way.
I was like,
Ain't no way
okay,
that was gonna be
sure.
there.
The reason
We're
this
about to
game
have
is number 10.
philosophical differences.
The reason this game is number 10 on my list rather than higher, because I really love the game, is because the theme isn't as strong as I'd want it to be, and that's Marvel Legendary.
Okay.
I really love it. I love the game. And the theme could be stronger. I think that's, because you are adding people to your deck. So yes, it could be stronger, but I still love it. And in fact, we just recently played the newest expansion, Fantastic Four with
Yeah.
Galactus.
Yes.
And I really felt the theme stronger with that grouping than I have yet. I think the game is just getting better.
I was just thinking, I'm gonna, if you keep going with this theme's not too strong thing, I was gonna cry foul because with that new expansion, I was like, holy crud! There's a lot of, you felt like
Both of us punched Galactus.
yes, right in the chin.
And we played with Jason. Guess what he did not do? Punch
He didn't punch
Galactus.
him. He punched himself in the gut.
Throw.
Yeah, Jason. I'll never watch this video.
Yeah, he won't.
But anyway, I really enjoy it. I think it brings the comic books into a good cooperative game. Unlike the DC one has pictures, and then you get to light them on fire, and that's more fun than the game. But no, I'm serious. Marvel Legendary, much better. But anyway, that's my number 10, Marvel Legendary.
That's
All right.
because Marvel's better than DC anyway.
What?
Oh, Flame Wars!
Got it.
There's going to be 6
right.
comments on that alone.
That's it. All right, my number 10 is definitely more Euro than what these guys are starting off with. This is a game called The Name of the Rose, which is based on the Umberto Eco novel.
In the Name of the Rose, isn't it?
It is.
In the Name of the Rose.
I think the novel is called In the Name of the Rose. I think the game's
Wait a
called
minute, you're
The Name
not
of the Rose.
you're not doing Mystery of the Abbey. You're doing In the Name of the Rose.
Well, Mystery of the Abbey is sort of influenced by sort of it. This
Right.
is it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I've never played this one. Who's the designer?
Stefan Feld, I think.
Whoa! Are you serious?
I think it is.
Feld
I
on
think
your
it is.
top 10.
Yeah, hey, that's okay.
You heard it here,
I'm not
folks.
a Feld hater.
Yes, you are.
No, I like a lot of his games. Just lately, I feel like he's been making the same game over and over again a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I tend to like his stuff, actually. Name of the Rose is a game. Obviously, the novel is based on the intrigue of who killed the monk or whatever it is, and the game has a nice flavor to it. You don't know who's who, and you are sort of laying blame this way and that, and trying to deduce by the end of the game who is each color. Right. So the game has a nice flavor to it. It's very Euro. It's mathy, it's Euro through and through, but it brings that theme out, and I like that. You do feel like you can trust the people around you. You do feel like, oh, so-and-so is clearly playing wide a lot, so they must be wide, or they're trying to play us and they're not wide. So you get that, second-guessing game. So for me, my number 10, The Name of the Rose.
To number 9.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9 is I'm gonna guess it's on your list.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know. It's based on a public domain book that has been around for a couple hundred years, and that's Robinson Crusoe. I think that the game does a good job of not only bringing Robinson Crusoe to life, it also brings Swiss Family Robinson to life, and a version of King Kong, and many of the old 20s films where they got in islands and bad things happened. I mean, really, the cool thing about Robinson Crusoe is it's basically a kit. And each scenario is a very different game than the last.
Right.
If you play scenario 1, it's Robinson Crusoe. Well, Robinson Crusoe with multiple people.
Yeah, with other people.
With multiple
there.
people, I guess.
And
But
dogs and
you can play it by yourself.
Right.
With Friday, and you'll die.
You'll die anyway.
You're gonna die. But I think it does a really good job of that frustration of all these bad things happening. I need to fend for myself, and does a good job at bringing out the exploration without bringing a bunch of nonsense into it.
Right.
Like I got to the island and there wasn't voodoo zombies approaching from the thing. If it was a straight stuff that would actually happen on a jungle island.
Right.
How do you know? Have you ever been to a jungle island?
Say yes, and let's move on.
Yes.
Good. Moving on. All right. So your number 9.
Robinson Crusoe.
Okay. My number 9 is The Lord of the Rings: The Confrontation, which is the 2-player game, which is Stratego-like, and then someone controls the forces of evil, and someone controls the good peoples, or whatever they are called, and you are trying to get Frodo to the mountain and destroy the ring, or if you're the bad people, then get, I want to say either you catch Frodo, or you get 3 people into the Shire. That's how you win. The game just has a nice flavor to it. You have all these, like, what-if scenarios, where you'll have Shelob go against Aragorn, sure.
That's right.
So
That's
you
too
have
bad
all
for
these, like,
Shelob.
what if fights, and it's interesting, and it has a nice flavor to it. Each character has their own special power, and it just works. It's a nice head-to-head, quick 2-player game with a good amount of flavor in it, and for me, it's probably one of my favorite Lord of the Rings themed games because it just works. It's quick. I like it. So my number 9, Lord of the Rings: The Confrontation.
Wow.
I'll be speaking later on this subject at a different number.
Okay.
It almost made my list, but there were some.
Also making Z's list, Lord of the Rings: The Bridge. Lord of the Rings: The Search.
Wow.
Those are both particularly bad.
No, The Bridge is actually a good game. It just has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And really,
And The Search is horrible.
Confrontation really doesn't have much to do with the Lord of the Rings.
Well, okay, but I will say this. It
has a Lord of the
manages
Rings
to
veneer on
condense
it.
Lord of the Rings pretty small. Like, I'm going through Moria, the Balrog's there. Whoa! I mean, it's...
I guess so. I mean, yeah. I like the game. Don't get me wrong, please. But I don't know. There are.
Well, what is your number 9?
There are better Lord of the Ring games out there.
Z-Muck, your number 10.
Speaking of better Lord of the Rings.
Go,
games,
man, go!
Number 9, the original Lord of the Rings cooperative game.
See, I thought about this one. The Reiner Knizia game has less Lord of the Rings flavor than The Confrontation.
I disagree. I disagree because you really feel like you're traveling through the lands, having to do these different things. I understand
I don't
there's
know.
a
I
whole
feel
lot
like
of...
I'm pulling squared chits out of a bag, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm going axe and sword, move 1. That's what I feel like I'm doing in that game, you know?
But, well, if you lack imagination, that's fine.
Throat punch time?
I can't believe you picked the number... I can't believe you picked the number 10, Feld, and he picked the number 9, Knizia.
We're rocking it. Yeah!
What?
It's
It's Bizarro World. It's ease.
Now look, there is a level of nostalgia, I guess, because this is I think this is the first cooperative game that introduced me to this whole new genre that is now ballooned and festered, you might say, on one.
Festered is such a negative connotation
yes,
to
I
it.
know that, but
just pandemic.
You get the idea. It's burgeoning. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah. It's opening up. There's a wide genre out there, and I bring it back to Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Right.
So, number 9, The Lord of the Rings.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 is my, this is my superhero flavor game, okay? Versus system, which for me had a nice superhero flavor to it. And I'm even if I can be a bit more specific, I'm talking more specifically about the Versus system Hellboy pack they had.
Really?
Which was like a self-contained box that had a deck for, well, you know, our BP, whatever they're called, the Bureau, right?
I don't know what they're
Hellboy
called.
side.
Okay, yeah, I guess you were saying.
Hellboy side.
Hellboy and the good guys
And the bad
against the
guy.
Nazis.
Yeah.
All right.
And it just has a really nice superhero flavor to it. It's a little gritty and mathematic where you lay out the cards and this one protects this one, but it all makes sense. It all works out. You have to, like you said, use your imagination. But for me, that's the superhero game that so far has done the best job at giving me a flavor, a one-to-one between what do these people do in the comics, who are they, and what do they do in the game.
I think Overpower did it better.
So what happened to Verse anyway?
It just
Versus just sort of
it went,
It just-
it went away. It went away.
Yeah, it went away big time. No, I haven't seen anyone play it.
Right.
But Overpower didn't. It still has a pretty.
Well, actually, I don't know. There might be a
following.
Versus.
I mean, yeah,
might be a versus.
There could be something in the.
But
back.
for me, Versus system does it. I mean, the flavor. Okay, it does it better than Legendary, better than DC Comics. So that's my number 8.
Did you say better than Legendary?
The flavor of superheroes for me comes across more than in Legendary. I'm not saying it's a better game. I'm saying it has a better flavor.
Number 8 for me. Legendary.
Are you?
Yeah! Yeah!
We're like right here today. All right.
Yeah, but at least his is better than yours.
Well, when I was looking for, I wasn't really looking for a comic game, but when Legendary popped up, I was like, is that going to be considered literature?
Oh no,
and so
that's
I
another
went-
bunch of comments.
and so
Comics
I
are not literature.
And so I kept going, and I was like, and then I saw something else. What else did I see? I saw Marvel Heroes. Didn't make it to my list.
Whoa, see, I was surprised. I thought that would.
It almost did. But I saw Marvel Heroes, and I was like, yeah, that's literature. So I went back and I added in Legendary.
Okay.
So definitely, for everything that he said, this rich theme, really felt like it. Kicked the snot out of the DC deck building game. Sorry. DC, you need to go home and lick your wounds and never come back. Marvel Legendary, however, absolutely there.
Okay.
All right, now listen. Before y'all jump on my case for my number 8,
If it's not a superhero game,
it is a superhero game. It is, but I don't think you guys even expected me to put this on my list because it's not only a superhero game, it's also a Star Wars game and a Transformers game, and that's because it's in my pocket.
Oh, is that a little...
A Tactics.
Oh, attack.
I hate this
Such a-
game.
Such a little kid,
What
man.
was that?
It was a
That was
missile.
Princess Leia.
That Princess Leia shot out of her rocket launcher
Oh, that
that
didn't
she
even
never
shoot.
had in the movies.
No, not coming.
What is that?
Ah!
Wow.
This is a game.
Yes.
This is a joke.
Yes.
This is like a card. This is what this is.
Now look, okay, yes, these are a toy.
They're toys.
It is close to being a joke.
Are there rules?
There are rules. Each of them has a thing on the bottom, so it says, for example, 4, so he can move 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you point them at someone and you shoot, and if you knock them over, they're out.
Okay.
They also have special abilities,
You can
like
roll them backwards.
If I-
let them go, and they go.
stop that. Okay, but like for example, when she dies, you turn it over, and if it's white, and then I have another rebel in play, she gets to come back again. She
Gotcha,
survives.
gotcha.
It's really silly. Some of them you can like twist, and they swing a bat and knock people over with their.
okay.
It's dumb. They carry oversized weapons, and yet it's a way to play, especially I would say Transformers more than anything else. If you want to play a cool Transformers game, you have to move them around and shoot at each other. This is pushing the boundaries of board games. I told you guys would make fun of me for this, but I'm going to stick with it. It's called a Tactics.
Thank you.
A Tactics. It's hard to find now. It wasn't like every toy store. Now you can only buy them on eBay, and they're like stupidly
I
expensive.
think you left the boundaries of board games, and you are smack dab in the middle of toys
This is so weird.
with a little game.
All right.
Stop making fun of me.
All right. No, that's
I'm proud of my toys.
okay.
Princess Leia, Optimus Prime. Look, they're kissing.
Oh, that's
Oh, Optimus and Leia sitting in.
All right, let's move on.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7 is Batman.
Na, 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 na,
City
na, 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 na.
strategy game. This is the one in which you play the villains.
Give my soda back.
Huh? Oh, I moved it so you could
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Anyway, Batman Gotham City is, like I said, the one where you play the villains. Batman comes around, smacks you about. You try to control areas in the city and level up your character. It just works. It's one of the... Typically, I've found, anyway, that the games that put you in the shoes of the bad guys tend to not get you into the game. In this game, it works, I think.
Yeah.
And... I just like the flavor. It's fairly Euro-y, but it works. It's got good flavor. Once you start leveling up the characters, they start to gain some personality. You'll find people start to role play the characters. It works. It's a good Batman game. So my number 7, Batman Gotham City strategy game.
I considered it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Cool.
I'm with you on that. That's good. All right, my
Oh, no, I'm first. Haha. My number 7. Now, Sam is going to disagree with me on this.
Probably.
Because he's going to say a different game. But my... No, it's Star Wars. But I'm going to say the LCG. And I'll tell you why. Because when I first played it, I said it doesn't feel very Star Wars-ish to me.
Star Wars-ish.
That's actually in the dictionary.
Wars-ish.
The Vassal, the Dice Tower, we're making our own dictionary. So Star Wars-ish is a game that feels like Star Wars. But anyway... the LCG didn't really feel like that. You had some odd things going on. But I think as the expansions are coming out, it's coming more and more into its own. There's some cool things. You can build like a cool Hoth deck. I know that you think the collectible card game has a stronger flavor. And it definitely probably is a stronger flavor, but I think that in the long run, the LCG is a better game.
No, you're talking about the original CCG.
Decipher.
Not the Wizards of the Coast TCG. Trading card.
No one's talking about that piece of garbage.
Yeah. Or Young Jedi, which was another piece of garbage.
Oh, that was rough.
Okay, actually, the TCG wasn't that bad. But
It's not that bad.
But Young Jedi was
Just rolling
horrible.
dice, and it's very lucky. But
I'm talking about the Fantasy
Young
Flight one.
Jedi.
He's talking about the Decipher one.
Okay.
Which I'm going to guess is on your list. But anyway, I think that the Decipher one did the theme a little bit better, but the LCG is such a solid game, and it also has a Star Wars theme, but I'm going to give the caveat that you need to get those expansions. I think that first, the box game is going to throw a lot of people for a loop, because they'll play it and be like, Ranker versus Star Destroyer, that's just weird.
Yeah, but that still can happen even with the expansion.
No, it still can happen, but as time comes by, I thought I don't know, maybe it's just me playing it more.
Yeah, that could be.
Well, that one I haven't played, so I can't comment on that one. But
I like the I like the card game, Star Wars, the card game. I like it. I enjoy it. I love the artwork. I love the how the decks work together and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What I do have my only real major issue with it is that it doesn't seem to make sense sometimes with some of those battles.
Yeah.
With the Decipher game, you had starships battling starships up in space. You had ground units battling ground units.
But sometimes
on the planet.
it made for a game that wasn't as fun.
I disagree.
Okay, well, anyway, what's your number 7? Is it this?
that'd be
My
fun.
number 7 is one that you actually mentioned before we started playing. Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. Pillars of the Earth.
Okay,
I have not read the book, but I don't think that was a requirement for making this.
No, but it's why I didn't put on, because I don't know if they just pasted a theme on.
Well, they could have, but it was still a good game,
Right.
and it was based upon.
No, I agree that it feels...
literature.
Again, I have not read that book either, but I think it feels...
Remember, reading's not a
Thematic.
hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby.
Why are you digging that up?
Dirt. Looking for dirt.
Yeah, you're looking
All right,
for.
so
you had
anyway,
to
no,
search
it's-
Oh,
for
he
it.
said it.
I know he did, but you went along with it.
It's a quality game. We're back to Pillars of the Earth. It's a good game, and
It's an incredibly good game, and I really again, this is one of the games that was very early in my voyage back into board gaming, and holds a little bit of a place in my heart for board gaming. That is.
Aww.
And yeah, see, you're such a girl. You said,
you can't even be nice and you get excited.
No, I don't know what to...
but anyway, that's
All right.
Pillars of the Earth. My number 7.
Number 6.
6 was an easy choice for me. I almost forgot about it because the updated version has nothing to do with the book that it's based on, but that's Dune. Dune the board game, which was based on the book by Frank Herbert, is Dune taken to a board game. It really is. Now, granted, it was originally based on the Romans, whatever, but they repasted the theme and the Dune, and it works well. The Harkonnens are traitorous. You know, the Arcades are stupid, but loyal. Atreides. Sorry, Atreides. You know, each of the 6 different factions, whether you're the Emperor or you're the witches, the ladies, the Fremen, they all have these different cool special abilities. Sandworms are popping up and killing people. And it was cool. It was a good game too, but it really did bring the Dune theme, which is why there was such an outcry when they changed it to Rex. I didn't mind to change to Rex. I think Rex is fine. But as we're talking about games based on properties, this one was based on a property, and it did a good job of it. And I think, hopefully this isn't causes any problems, but I think the Frank Herbert estate is stupid for not allowing that game to continue on with the license.
Here, here.
I mean, really, you're just dumb. It wasn't just a ripoff of the license.
Calling people stupid now.
We're gonna get shut down.
I'm being more specific though. I thought
How am I not being specific when I say if you don't like a certain game, you're stupid? But
Okay.
you say, because you didn't let this game go through, you're stupid.
well, I'm being very specific.
that.
Also, those people aren't
Just like
watching. Those people aren't watching.
How do you know?
If you are
You're
watching
gonna get a
Frank
phone
Herbert
call
estate,
right after you.
you guys are morons for not allowing the theme.
He said morons. I just say you're stupid.
All right.
Okay, let's move on. What's yours?
Debate
What's your
levels of
6?
stupidness.
All right, my number 6 is another Lord of the Rings game. Sounds better than this guy's pick a few times ago.
Yeah.
War of the Ring.
Okay.
Okay.
War of the Ring is what was your Lord of the Rings? Was it your 8,
9.
9, and this one's 6?
Yes.
Yeah, to me it's such a wild differential there. You can argue that Lord of the Rings has some Lord of the Rings flavor. You can argue that Confrontation has some, but War of the Rings is Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
absolutely.
Okay.
I've never played it.
You've never played War of the Ring?
No.
He doesn't like games that are long though.
Long game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would play it. It's one of those I need to get this played at some point, but I haven't. Played
Z's list of I gotta get these played. What's on it? 1,000 games at this point?
it. Really?
You're always saying, "Oh, I need to play this game."
Nah, it's not that much.
Maybe we'll do a 24-hour marathon someday where we'll play all the games you want to play.
All right.
I don't know if I can make it 24 hours.
I could.
All right. Anyway, we're getting way off topic here.
All right.
You love War of the Ring.
Absolutely. War of the Ring, I mean, good night. You play that board, the deluxe edition is just sick. It's every facet of the Lord of the Rings is there. You've got the hobbits, you've got the armies of men, Gondor, all of these things coming together. You've got the people from the Mordor coming in. Everything is there. Everything is there, and it really feels like you're going through the books, through the movies, and I mean, it's such an epic game, and I'm a sucker for epic games. So
Cool.
My number 6, War of the Ring.
All right. My number 6 is based on old literature. This is public domain now, and that is Around the World in 80 Days.
I considered it. I considered it.
Which is a game I really like, actually, and it's probably higher up on the list. It's at number 6 because of how much I like the game, not necessarily because it's such a close tie to the literature, but I do really enjoy the game. It's a pretty simple game. It's definitely a family weight game, but it just hums for me,
Okay.
It's got card play, it's got some special powers when you basically draft a card, and depending on where that card was laying on the table, that comes with a special power, so it's interesting. It's a cool mechanic, and it's a breezy game. It really works. You got everybody racing to make it all the way around. So for me, a great game based on really cool literature, which makes for a gorgeous map and makes for just neat twists and turns. Around the World in 80 Days. That's my number 6.
Good choice.
Very good.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5, and I'm probably got this one. I think it's probably higher on your list.
Okay.
Your list.
Oh.
That's Star Wars, Queen's Gambit.
You'll
Okay.
never know. Well, actually, you will know, I guess.
I will know in just a few minutes. Star Wars Queen's Gambit. That game blew me out of the water. I loved how it was 3-dimensional. I loved how you had all of these different, almost a command and colors system to where you could fight over here or over here or over here, and it just really flowed together well. Totally enjoyed that game, and I think it really captured the tension that was in episode 1. Episode 1 gets a lot of
Flag.
discredit, a lot of flack because of Jar Jar Binks and all this other kind of
Misa, I like your
But-
choice.
But it's
These are
just,
toys.
Leave her alone. It's my Princess Leia.
Go ahead. He's about
Not
to tell me to
touching
take
that
my
one.
ball and go home. So go ahead, keep
touching that
talking.
one, man. Star Wars Queen Gambit, my number 5.
Z's number 5. Star Wars Queen Gambit.
No. All right, my number 5. And I feel like I'm cheating a little bit here, so
So he is.
if you'll forgive me, okay? This is not technically a game which is out, but it's a game we've played.
What?
My number 5 was originally going to be, I was going to pick Elder Sign. And then I thought, this game doesn't have as rich a theme as Arkham Horror. So I was going to pick Arkham Horror. And then I realized, you know what? Eldritch Horror
Oh, yeah.
is a better Arkham Horror for me. So my number 5 is Eldritch Horror. I know it's not out. We've played it.
Na, 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 na.
No, that wasn't meant to be like suckers.
But you know what? It's going to be out any
It should
week
be
now.
out.
So
I haven't
my number 5 is
You will
Eldritch
like
Horror
it.
because
You guys play all the good games when I'm not around.
no, you will like Eldritch Horror. I'm
You
telling
know,
you.
all the-
So that's my number 5, just because it has a really great storytelling flavor in it. It's world trekking and discovering things and stumbling upon things no man should know, and it's really great.
I don't think that's a cheat at all, especially since by the time some people watch this, it will be out.
Yeah. So
Not to mention, we talk about enough games that have been out of print for ages.
I guess that's
it's nice
true.
sometimes.
That's true.
You can buy this one, folks.
soon. So I just really like that one. Again, the game's a little long for me, but the theme and what's happening, right there. So I had to put it on the list. Number 5, Eldritch Horror.
All right.
My number 5, Sam already said it, but I agree wholeheartedly, and that's War of the Ring. If you take the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you grill it up, you saute it,
Then
you
it's
put
an
it out there,
That's an omelet.
you season it with theme, and you eat it, and
That's War of the Ring, yeah.
each bite you take, you say, this is War of the Ring. This is delectable. This is the game. Did I go too far?
Yeah, you
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, move it on.
My next, a la carte. I'm not bringing that back.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4 is where I began to think I was cheating a little bit because it's definitely based
Much
on
cheating.
based on literature. It's based on literary works, but no one specific literary work, I guess.
Three Little Pigs?
The Fury of Dracula.
That is based on
That's based
one
on
specific-
Dracula.
No, but it's not one work.
Yes, it is.
It's the whole. Come on.
What else is there?
No, he's saying it's based on all those movies. No, it's based on the Book of Dracula, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Almost exactly, isn't
okay,
it?
well, then I'm not cheating.
As far as I know, it's just based on Dracula.
No one was accusing you of cheating. You were accusing yourself.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
there's
I
anything
felt
else.
like I was cheating because I don't know. I just
That's a good feeling when you think you're cheating, but then you realize you weren't.
Validate it.
that's cool. All right. So anyway, Fury of Dracula, another kind of co-op, but it's actually more of a teamish game because one person plays Dracula and the other 3 or 4 or 2 play the people hunting Dracula. So just a really cool theme-packed, tense game. Very similar to Letters from Whitechapel
Yes.
or Scotland Yard or something to that effect.
It's like those games
Yeah.
with theme.
Yeah, with cool, awesome theme.
Well, yeah, I'll buy that. I always thought Scotland Yard had a pretty strong theme in it.
Well, I was thinking mostly Letters from Whitechapel. That game is fairly devoid of theme. Letters from Whitechapel has
Yeah, you're hunting a person down. That feels like exactly what you're
theme, I
doing.
guess.
What do you want?
It was kind of
Fury of Dracula.
yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that one. I'd much rather play Fury
Alright.
of Dracula than Letters from Whitechapel, but I mean,
Alright.
obviously, it made my list, and Whitechapel didn't.
My number 4, Sam has stolen my thunder again.
Yeah.
And it's Star Wars Queen's Gambit.
I knew it.
Well, you know what? I thought about putting
You'll
Star
never
Wars.
know.
I thought about putting Star Wars Epic Duels on my list.
Oh,
No, you didn't like that game?
I liked it, but compared to
Oh,
Queen's Gambit,
the thing about Star Wars Epic Duels can be kind of silly. You have the Emperor and his 2 guards, and in
Right.
comes, Anakin,
Han Solo.
Han Solo, and Chewbacca.
Right.
But it was. But anyway, yes, Star Wars Queen Gambit's from production to the ease of the game to the way they balance 4 different games. Fantastic. Sam already said the rest. So my number 4, Star Wars Queen's Gambit.
Cool. My number 4 is one you've mentioned already.
Wait.
Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah, I knew you would say that.
Which, again, for all the same reasons you said, it puts you there, man. That game feels like suffering in a box.
Suffering in
I
a
would
box.
imagine-
He's going to use that as his quote.
Let's go. I would imagine if I am lost and starving and need shelter and I get weaker and sicker, that's kind of, that would be real life. It sort of feels like that when you're playing the game. I caught a cold from that game. So everything you said is right there. My number 4, Robinson Crusoe, puts you there.
Number 3.
Now I'm going to steal Sam's thunder because I suspect I know what position this is on his list. But I'll be brief so I can let Sam expound on it later. But I think this brings the TV show completely to life, and it's impossible to say this game does not embody the theme, and that's Battlestar Galactica.
Amen.
There is no way that you can play the game without ever having seen the show because some people have.
Not seen it.
Right,
I'm
well, no.
watching it now. Up to season 3, baby.
Already?
I've been smoking through those puppies.
As you're watching it, do you go? Does any part of the game make sense to you?
No, not any more than it did before, really, which I think it validates your point. But now I will never play Guy's Baltar. Hate that guy!
Okay, but I mean, really, the characters are real. But if anything else, the tension of who was a Cylod is definitely in the game. So anyway,
That's funny that you mentioned that because every time somebody plays Gaius Baltar, I'm like, and I look at that person, I'm like, you're a traitor. We haven't even started the game. Yeah, but you're a traitor.
Now that I've seen it, I'm
right?
like, oh, I don't want that guy.
all right. So anyway, I'll let Sam finish it. I'm sure it's on his list. Go.
Well, my number 3 is Battlestar Galactica, so I'm going to add a little bit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yes. Same number. But we become one.
I don't know what that is.
The Power Twins.
What would that be
I don't know.
if the two of you became one?
We had more hair.
We have more hair.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, guys, Baltar over here. I have nothing else to say. I think it's like you said. It's a great theme. Now that I've seen the show, I get more of it. But even before seeing the show, you can feel the vibe. Being put off by that game, and you get it. You get the tension. You get that suspense, the mistrust. It all clicks together. So my number 3, Battlestar Galactica. Great game.
Cool. My number 3.
No way. It's higher on your list.
Yeah, it is higher.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. That would have been cool, but no.
Twilight Imperium. It's based on the movie.
I wish.
That was
My
it.
number 3 is a game that completely captures what I think, and I played video games, a lot of video games, probably more than I should have, that use the same theme. No. Oh my.
The board game.
The Mario, the board. No.
There is such a thing. Run from it.
Star Wars X-Wing.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. It puts you in the cockpit of all of those spaceships, and it really makes it come alive because all of those miniatures look great, light years better than the attack wing miniatures. Star Trek is not good. Star Wars is good. Okay.
I love it. So many Flame Wars.
Yes, I that's fine. I'm
Our goal is to see how many different Flame War threads we can start underneath one video.
But when Star Wars X-Wing miniatures started coming out, I think I literally started foaming at the mouth because they were just the miniatures were just
Especially
awesome.
when you heard it was Fantasy Flight, you know, they did a good job.
Yes, Fantasy Flight just rocks on their miniatures, even in the the ones that just come with regular board games. But this was like a miniatures game, so I was like, yeah! And boy, did they hit it out of the park, and they're still hitting it out of the park with each new expansion.
Yeah, I figured this would be on your list. That was
Yeah.
a lock. The only lock I could definitely say for you was this one.
All right, let's do it.
Number 2.
My number 2 is a game that has been mentioned at least by one of you two. I think you, Sam, said it. Pillars of the Earth.
Yes.
Pillars of the Earth is an awesome game.
Yeah.
I have not read the book, so I feel a little bit like I'm cheating. Like we were talking about.
This time I'm going to accept your claim that you're cheating, but all right.
But it is based on a book, and the game is amazing. And I can only imagine. I get a good vibe, like the characters are named after characters in the book. I can tell that, right? Everything just clicks. You feel like you are building the cathedral. You feel like you are employing the characters. I know there's a plot which comes out in Pillars of the Earth Builders Duel, which is the 2-player game, with the two characters, the two gentlemen, like a priest or something like that on the other one, and they sort of go head to head. That doesn't really come through in the big board game, in the main one, Pillars of the Earth. But even so, the game feels very thematic, even if you're not familiar with the novel. And it's a Euro through and through again, which a lot of my games actually have ended up being. But it just works. It's a great worker placement game, beautiful to look at, has a nice progression to it. You feel like you are employing better and better characters. It just works. I love it. So my number 2, Pillars of the Earth.
My number 2, based upon the Arthurian legends,
Shadows?
Shadows over Camelot.
Okay.
Shadows over Camelot. No, I'm not cheating.
No, you're not cheating, and I love Shadows.
Yeah, I thought about
There's
it.
a proverbial butt coming on. What?
Well, there's no proverbial butt. It's an actual real life butt.
Ew.
No,
Is it Leia?
Hopefully it's closed.
please
It's not Optimus Prime.
don't look at it. Okay.
Wow. You're getting a little too protective of
Aw.
Princess.
Anyway, no, I thought about it,
If there's a
and
fire, I'd grab Optimus.
for one
actually.
reason or another, I was like, it's more based on a legend than a specific. Like, I can't point to the book.
Oh, but you pick Elder Tar?
I can point to the book.
Which book?
H.P. Lovecraft's books.
Which one?
What are you talking? Like all of it.
Well, that's the same thing.
Guess, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right to me in my brain.
No, I didn't pick it as much because I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I just think the theme was as strong as, let's say, Battlestar. You know.
Well, that's why.
Okay, fine. All right.
That's why it's not one space higher. But you get what I'm saying, though. I mean, I think it's a really great game.
Yeah.
It's a great, I think, gateway game into co-ops.
Yeah.
And it's got beautiful board based on good theme. I mean, sure, yeah, it's
And if you don't know how to play poker, it'll teach you how to play poker.
set
So that's
collection.
good.
See, I was waiting for you to say something. I was just waiting. I was waiting.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, you were. But so I think it's a valid choice. It's one of my favorite games that I've played. I've been able to take it out on a number of different occasions, and people have absolutely enjoyed it. After being initially scared about it, because it is a big game.
It does look intimidating.
It looks intimidating,
Yes.
but once they get to playing it, they're like, "Oh, this is simple."
Yes.
and that's what That's a gotcha.
All right.
So Shadows over Camelot, my number 2.
My number 2, once again, Sam has stolen half my thunder
Ooh,
because he's going to disagree with my other half.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Hang on. Now listen, I'm going to say good things first.
Say the good one
X-wing,
first.
attack, and attack wings.
One day you are going to hit him. What? That was worse than Optimus Prime over here. That was spring loaded.
Okay. Now look. No, I'm telling you, I feel like Kirk and Picard and the Klingons are all going at it in those ships. I really do. And I like that. And X-Wing is definitely, although I agree with you with X-Wing, it makes me, the first thoughts are not of the movies. My first thoughts are hearing the Empire Strikes Back theme as I'm flying my X-Wing around in that stupid PC game that we played way too much.
Yeah.
But I like them both. I think they do a good job at bringing those ship combats to life in a way that no other game had done. You can talk about that Star Trek, what's it called? The old one where they
fleet battles or something.
Star Trek Fleet Battles, where the rule book is thicker than a 66 concordance of the Bible thing, and it's like, oh, let me look on page 843, and doesn't this feel like Star Trek? No, it feels like boredom.
Well, I'm curious. You keep you keep putting this game on the list, and you always mention both. Are they that similar that you should consider both all the time, though?
Here's what I would say. Honestly, I would say, pick the one that you like. Do you like Star Wars better? Get X-Wing. Do you like Star Trek better? Get Attack Wing. I really think that.
Okay.
They're that close.
I'm just saying because every time, like lately, it's been on a couple of your lists, and you always do mention both. So I'm just curious if it's.
Well,
technically, it's happened twice.
It's the same.
But all right, yes.
Well,
it's the same game with two different veneers on it.
There is a lot of differences. The Star Trek one, the ships are bigger, they take more hits, they have cloaking.
I understand.
The Star Wars is much more.
Which is why I think that the system actually fits the dogfighting of Star Wars better than the,
I'm gonna wait till
battleship.
Battlestar Galactica wing comes out. And...
I'll buy it.
Yeah, baby.
I don't know.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Come on.
No.
That'd be awesome.
There's really
Blackbird.
There's really only 4
Blackbird.
ships. There's only 4 ships.
Blackbird.
Are we at number ones?
Yes, we are.
And finally, number 1.
Go ahead.
Okay, my number 1.
Wait,
Again, it's been,
we should guess your number 1. Can we think of? No, I can't guess it.
It's been
Go ahead.
mentioned.
Oh,
Can you guess? It's been mentioned.
can't be on my list. It must be on yours,
I
Sam.
think it's on yours, Sam. Can you guess?
It's got to be Fury of Dracula.
Yes.
Whoa!
There you
Really?
go. Pound it.
Bam!
That's number 1?
My number 1 is Fury of Dracula.
Dracula.
It just oozes theme, that game.
Yeah.
The board looks period. The characters all have cool abilities that fit the characters
Yeah.
from the literature. Dracula moves in secret. You're never quite sure when he's just gonna spring on you. You gotta be careful you don't find him at night or he will jump you in a dark alley. You discover the bodies he's left behind, his minions, it's so much. I could just sit here and talk about theme, not even mention mechanics. I could just lay out the theme of what the game deals with, thematically, the plot, and I will start saying rules. Because it is that well interwoven, So that's why it's my number 1, because it takes that book and crams it into the game. And it does it perfectly.
Cool.
So my number 1, Fury of Dracula, awesome.
Awesome. Good.
My number 1 has not been mentioned, and I actually thought it might have made it in the Sam's list, but he apparently is all Star Wars these days. But if you want Star Trek, in a box, Star Trek Fleet Captains is amazing. It is like a whole season. You were talking about that one game that takes longer than the show, the Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But in Star Trek Fleet Captains, when you play through a game you've played through like a whole season in one game.
Yeah.
Because you go here and anything you could think of from Star Trek, you could probably do in the game. You can teleport someone off someone else's ship.
Okay.
You can shoot them. You can beam down to planets and discover new life. Everything that was in the shows is in this game. I really enjoy it. It has this sense of discovery, which is something I love in games. What's going to be on this tile?
Yes.
The different ships. Some ships are made to go out and blow the snot out of other ships. Some ships are, and you have these secret missions, and you have open missions and combat, and just I don't know. It's really cool. And it's fantastic. I love it. It's great. And if you took Star Trek out, let's say there was no Star Trek, we talk about theme put on, pasted on the game. If you took Star Trek out, this game would mean nothing. It wouldn't. It is, when you talk about it, you think Star Trek. You don't think about a bunch of mechanics.
Cool.
Like I said, I was surprised it was on your list. I'm really kind of curious because I have no idea what your number one is.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
I could have written his number one for him. I'm surprised. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway.
These two yahoos taking on my juice.
You should be
Battlestar
glad that your
Galactica.
number one's on both of our lists.
My number one, Battlestar Galactica. These two have validated why my number one is the best choice
Okay.
out of because
That's not what we said, but all right.
clearly on both of their lists. So
Yeah.
it definitely deserves a higher ranking than you have given it.
Okay.
If all three of us agree on
That was
this.
like my number, 3? It was pretty.
Yeah, and what was it on yours?
Number 3. That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
that
high.
is high.
But it definitely deserves
1.
higher than 3.
Number 0.
Number 1.
So basically, you can say this: if you like that show, you should play this game.
I think if you like that show, you will absolutely like the game.
I think you can go as far as to say if you like sci-fi, you will like this game.
Yeah,
Because again, I had not seen that show at all when I first played that game.
I'm going to say that Battlestar Galactica has always been more about the people than the sci-fi stuff.
That's true, but the game feels like a sci-fi game.
well,
Maybe.
yeah.
It's there. It feels like a
All right.
trader game.
I don't know.
I mean, definitely we can give you the, if you like the show, you should check out the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's the whole point of this.
I think you'll
Yeah.
you'll be inclined to like it if you're a sci-fi fan, and if
Right.
you've never seen Battlestar Galactica, I think
Okay.
you'll be inclined to like it. But I think there is less sci-fi-ness about the game than there possibly could be.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
it is a
you've got
game that
you've
happens
got
among the people. Absolutely.
It's a people game. It's more of a social game almost than anything else.
Right.
Almost maybe, if dare I say, a little bit puzzly at times, because when you've got all those Cylons running around on the outside of the ship, you've got to kind of maneuver and make sure that you're putting your Vipers out in the right places and all. So it can seem that way a little bit, but really this game. See, I'm a guy that likes long games, but I don't like long games if they're not fun. The long game has to be fun. The long game has to feel like a short game.
Okay.
And I think Battlestar Galactica does this. I even think Twilight Imperium 3 does this because
he managed to get it in. Holy moly! Come on.
so look, the thing is,
Say Cosmic Encounter.
when you stand up from a game of Battlestar Galactica, you say you've been playing for 3 hours.
I've been playing you for 3 hours.
Yeah, right.
Typically.
Yeah, but not last
typically
time.
do say
Not
that.
last time.
No, shut
I
up.
had you pegged.
You're a liar. I
Had you
don't
pegged.
want to talk.
And that's one of the things I come back to because, man, I was so immersed in that game.
Right.
I mean, I was standing up,
He
I was
definitely
yelling
was.
at you. I was like,
He was yelling at me, and I wasn't even a Cylon.
So I was, man, but see, that's to me, that's a mark of a good game, to where I'm in it, I'm in it, and I'm sitting there playing this game for 3 hours, and it's like, let's play it again. That's how I feel about some of these games.
Okay.
And Battlestar Galactica, that's why it hit number 1.
So anyway, not every game that's based on a book or TV show or movie is bad. In fact, there's quite a few good ones.
Yep.
Hopefully we've given you one. If you have some, put them in the comments below. Tell us why you think DC's better than Marvel, or Star Trek's better than Star Wars, or whatever else we said, or why the Herbert Estate isn't a bunch of morons. So,
If you disagree with me, it's okay. You have the right to be wrong.
I never know how to respond to that. Okay, but anyway, we can play this now if you guys want.
No!
I'm in.
All right. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell,
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Optimus Prime.
and you've been watching The Dice Tower.